वृंदाविक गिरिधारी शिशि राधा विनोद बिहरी जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरन मोहन जू की जय। नित्यालप विष्णु विष्णुपार शतर शत शिष्मार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यालप विष्णु विष्णुपार शतर शत शिष्मार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यालप विष्णु विष्णुपार शतर शत शिष्मार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यालप विष्णु विष्णुपार शतर शत शिष्मार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यालप विष्णु विष्णुपार शतर शत शिष्मार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यालप विष्णु महाभागवत श्री गौर किशोरदास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। नित्यालप विश्व शिव सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्यालप विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानुपर्य गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जी गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंद आदि श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट विदग्ध गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री मोन देवी गंग देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। वनवासी योगमाया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। Oh, sorry. Shri Dainik Nadīyā Prakāśa ki jai. All the periodicals of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada and all of his followers ki jai. The editor of Dainika Nadīyā Prakāśa, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakti Vrinda ki jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Gaur. Right. Hare Krishna. We'll do the Mangalacharan. Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Tividito Kodiya Gurvanvaye Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhata Gagane Yogora Sankirtanai Maya Bharati Mingilo Daragatan Udrita Jiva Niman Krishna Prema Sudabdita Hana Sukham Pradat Prabhum Tang Bhaje Vande Bhakti Vinodam Shri Gaura Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajam Radharasa Sudhanidhim Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Bhaja Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Śrīvāsa Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Oops, my microphone wasn't on. 1 second. Okay. Hare Krishna, everybody. Dandavat pranams. Satya Mataji, Śrīvāsa Prabhu, Champak Mataji, Sarveshwari Mataji, Nitai Mukeshji, and Gavin Myers, if I remember correctly, right? And let's see here on YouTube and Facebook. All right, nobody's on YouTube or Facebook yet. Well, pranams to anybody watching in the future. All right, so welcome to our, what is it? I think it's our 16th or 17th Dainik Nadīyā Prakāśa session. Today we're going to be, Dainik Nadīyā Prakāśa is the daily magazine of newspaper of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, which was managed, the main editor of it was Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. And all these articles that we're going to be reading today are available on the website nadiyaprakāsh.com, NADIYAPRAKASH.com. So I'm going to hand it over to Śrīvāsa, who's been translating all of these articles. And yeah, that's it. All
right. So this one for today has a song at the beginning.
Oh, nice.
A short little kirtan. Maybe you'd want to read that, or we can do part and part.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that. Can you turn on your camera?
Oh, yeah.
1 second. Let me just, I didn't open up the file yet. I was a bit late this morning. Okay. It's 23, right? Yeah. All right. Nice. Okay. Nahima. Okay, got it. Sorry, let me just, here, I'll let you see what I'm doing so you're not just staring at my face. Okay. Actually, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this all one column so that I can make it really big. Then I don't, yeah, and then I'm going to just increase the size. Boom. All right, that's good. Oh wait, and let me turn off noise suppression. All right, sorry about that. And so this is Dainik Nadīyā Prakāśa, 13th Caitra, Monday, March 26, 1928. Dayā, compassion. Okay, let me just, I'm getting my mridanga. Okay. Nahi mani apanara sukha dukha kabhu bhalobasa koto more taha jane prabhu.
I never care for your happiness or distress. I know how much you love me, Lord.
Divanishi koto khata mor sukha tare dukha jahe kabo more parashite nare.
You look out for my happiness day and night, so that sorrow can never touch me.
Amara sujasha shuni sukha pao koto aparjasya shuni dukha hoishe mata.
Happy you get to hear me praised. If I'm defamed, you feel as much sorrow.
Jadi mama sukha lagi kobo shasti dao nije tumi ama pekha boro vyatha pao.
If you ever punish me for my pleasures, you feel more pain than I do.
Wow. Kahara dayara drishti dhruvatara sama nikate thakiya sada vignanashe mama.
Whose merciful glance is like the pole star? You are always next to me, eradicating obstacles.
Dayara sagara prabhu o tomare chadiya yar jeno nahi thaki sangsare bhuliya.
I pray to not wander this material existence anymore, leaving you, the ocean of mercy.
Wow, beautiful.
So this next article, actually, it's interesting that one verse, Yali mama sukha lagi kapushasti dao. If you ever punish me for my pleasures, you feel more pain than I do. So I originally took this as like, if, you know, we're enjoying something, but maybe it's somewhat sinful, so then the Lord punishes us for it. But it actually pains him to punish us for it. But now I'm reading this and I'm thinking, Yadi Mama Sukha, like, if Krishna, it makes more sense if Krishna punishes us for our benefit, right? For our eternal pleasure, right? Maya is constantly giving us these threefold miseries so that we realize this is not our home. But it actually pains Krishna to be doing this. Just an interesting little.
Yeah, I've never heard that point expressed like that. Like I've just never heard that point actually.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, so the song is very short, but it's very has some very like intimate points to it. You look up for my happiness day and night, so that sorrow can never touch me. So really, Krishna is trying to take care of us, even here, right? Gives us families, gives us friends, gives us food, provides for all living beings, right? And we care nothing for his happiness or distress, but he's taking everything for us. He's happy to hear us praised, feels as sad as us when we're defamed, want to punish us, merciful glance like a pole star. Yeah, it's a very sweet kirtan.
Yeah,
I wish they put the author's name.
yeah, very unique.
All right, so the next article called literature, and really nice, powerful little article. and ultimately a glorification of Jiva Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami. So, on the evening of March 20th, assembly of many renowned servants of literature at Presidency College, organized by the students there. The topic of discussion was literature. Shriyut Yadunath Sarkar Mahashai took the seat of chairman. Everyone in the assembly praised the works of the late Bankim Chandra, as well as the contemporary works of Sarat Chandra, and urged the students to read the literary works of Bankim Chandra. Of the novels and plays we see taking the form of literature these days, the ones that sell the most in the market usually have the image of a naked woman printed on the first page to make it very clear to the readers what kind of tone the author has revealed in his prose. Parents and guardians are turning a blind eye to the fact that tender-minded youth have read all this literature and developed certain proclivities at too early an age, have reached and are reaching the furthest limits of a deplorable condition. Literature that hacks away at the roots of dharma and is always trying to get us to traverse an ignoble path. Literature that seems appealing at first but results in something truly terrifying. Though reading such literature may be the fashion of the times, pious persons ought to carefully consider just how appropriate it really is. If we consult the scriptures, we see that the sages of yore also denounce this sort of literature. Srimad Bhagavatam says, "Those who are learned know that statements or texts that are full of wondrous poetic turns of phrase yet never glorify Vasudeva, the sanctifier of worlds, are but places of pilgrimage for crows, garbage heaps." In other words, such literature appeals to lusty persons, enlightened persons who are fixed on producing a state of goodness do not delight in such topics. There are many social organizations being formed in the world. There needs to be an organization that curates literature for readers. It is imperative to give careful attention to several matters when going about the curation of literature. It is imperative that all kalpanik sahitya, contrived literature, is discarded. Vastava sahitya, real literature, promoted, so that human beings are not robbed of their morals. They should be encouraged to lead a moral and religious life so that they can be happy now and later on. Determination of varna, occupational type, i.e. intellectual, soldier, entrepreneur, tradesman, and ashram, stage of life, i.e. single, married, retired, or renounced, according to scripture, needs to be reinstituted so that a person's dharma jivan, functional, pious lifestyle, can be created starting from their childhood. If a pious lifestyle is not adopted, one cannot cultivate literature. I think that's a strong statement. Without that, it is not possible to relish unnata ujjvala rasa, the elevated, refulgent, mellow of romance, which is the life of literature. I think this is a huge point. You cannot appreciate the loving, intimate pastimes between Radha and Krishna, all the romance novels and movies and whatnot that we watch are just a reflection of that desire to relish that rasa. And we can't do that unless we have a solid, pious foundation of life.
Yeah, what's because they're opposites, right? Calm and prema are opposite. What's that verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita?
Calm, nama, prema nama dhare. I just remember the last part.
Yeah. God, if I just get the first word, I'd be able to say it. But anyways, yeah, they seem similar externally, but they're actually couldn't be further apart. They're antonyms. Calm and prema.
Atmendriya pritivancha tare boli kam
Calm.
krishnendriya priti. Dhare Premanam. I like that it's the desire to serve all of Krishna's senses, Dhare Premanam, bears the name prem, whereas Kam, lust, which is directed at satisfying yourself, is called lust. It doesn't bear anything, it doesn't hold anything.
Yes.
Yeah. There needs to be careful, in-depth discussion of the differences between real literature and contrived literature, and the benefits of cultivating or serving real literature. So it needs to be carefully distinguished which is which. Everything that is in contrived literature also exists in real literature. The difference is this: even the mere shadow of contrived literature cannot touch real literature. For real literature contains only that which is eternal truth. Though contrived literature may be somewhat pleasing to the senses, like an intoxicant, its result is ghastly. Real literature keeps its relisher immersed from moment to moment in eternally newer and newer flavors. It does not subside like contrived literature does, once it arouses the pleasure of the body and mind. Chandidas, Vidyapati, Jayadev, Bilvamangal, Shri Rupa, Sanatan, Kavi Karnapur, Krishnadas Kaviraj, Thakur Vrindavan, and countless other kings of literature have appeared in our nation and bequeathed to us their immortal glory. It is a matter of great sadness, however, that the literature that has been written following the cues of Western aesthetics seems good to us. Though it is driving us towards hell, it appears to be rather pleasing at the outset. And so now we do not have any honor for real. Shripad Jiva Goswami Prabhu foresaw this inauspiciousness bearing down on humanity and sought to cut
Śrīvāsa,
down mundane, contrived literature at
sorry, it just your sound cut out for a second, and so you didn't get the last sentence.
Okay.
Sorry, could you just yeah, sorry about that.
Jiva Goswami Prabhu foresaw this inauspiciousness bearing down on humanity to cut down mundane, contrived literature at its root. Is it working?
Sorry, I was muted.
And establish.
Yeah, your connection is a little bit like every now and then a word will get will just like you won't hear a word, but at least people can read along also, so that's fine.
Okay. Well, how about you finish this section? Let's do that.
Okay. Shripad Jiva Goswami Prabhu foresaw this inauspiciousness bearing down on humanity and sought to cut down mundane, contrived literature at its root and establish the foundation of real literature. So he composed Shri Harinamamrita Vyakarana. At present, under the guidance of Shri Jiva Goswami Pad, the servants of Shri Chaitanya Math have established a Para Vidyapit, an institute for higher spiritual learning at the Śrī Math for the purpose of propagating Sat Sahitya, true literature throughout the world. Nice. I'm going to share this with my Sanskrit teacher. Param Sundar. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice point. The day that I was translating this came across sister completing her PhD at Harvard, and so I sent this to her.
It cut out. You said you're reading a part of her Radhika's PhD. Is that? It cut out when you said that.
I was translating this this portion that you just read the day that news came out, and I sent it to her. I just very this.
That's really nice.
Beautiful point here. And the importance of Sanskrit literature. Sometimes I think even when we're reading translations, like of Bhagavatam, does not hit home unless you read the Sanskrit. You know, Prabhupada had that system of the devotees reciting the Sanskrit together and then the translation. We were reading something from fourth canto yesterday, and where the verse starts to talk about Krishna consciousness, right? And then of course we're like, okay, but the Sanskrit doesn't actually say Krishna consciousness. What does the Sanskrit actually say? I think it was Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. It's such a beautiful verse, such a powerful verse, right? Every word of that rings so much more powerfully than English can actually properly do justice in a translation. And so this is interesting, some encouragement for people to learn or absorb Sanskrit gradually. All right. The next is more about, well, indirectly about the birthplace of Mahaprabhu. So two friends, a few matters. Sacha kahe, second. Sacha kahe to mare latha, jhutha jagat bhulai. Goras gali gali phire, sura baithala bikai. So this couplet of Mahatma Tulsidas, I think this is from Ramcharitmanas, gives how well acquainted he was with the modern world. He tells us here that though milk is sold door to door, no one wants it. And meanwhile, liquor sits in one place. There's one liquor shop in the whole town, and it gets sold out. But the gowalas, the cowherd, go door to door, and still they can't sell enough milk. This is the way of the world. The law of truth has gotten up and left. It's just gotten up and walked out. And the law of falsity has flourished. As soon as you proceed to tell the truth, people come to beat you with sticks. That said, can anyone stop the propagation of the truth? No. No one will manage that. And there's supposed to be a question mark there. Anyways, the truth has a certain otherworldly power that enables it to overcome hundreds of thousands of obstacles and establish itself with dignity. Regard for falsity may abound at first, but it does not endure. To dharmas tato jaya. There is victory. Short, little, strong statement. Many of our friends, and I think it's just the continuation of that, many of our friends whose hearts are earnest and who want the best for us, about the misfortune of the antagonist, oppose the conclusions of pure devotion. Our joy knows no bounds to see this destruction of their kind. Udara charitanam, magnanimous persons are devoid of discrimination between own and other. Instead, they see the whole world as their own family. They know that since all living entities are Krishna's servants, and since Krishna is the father of the world, the Lord of the world, then why would discrimination come between them and make their hearts contracted and miserly? When one's self-interest is the one destination of all self-interest, the service of Krishna, then why would there be any estrangement between us? One day, one of Mahaprabhu's who had received Mahaprabhu's mercy became melted with sympathy for the sorrows of the living entities. Give me the sins of the living entities. Give the sins of the living entities to me, and let me suffer in hell on their behalf. This was Vasudev Datta, right? Aho, who but the devotees of Gora could possibly be like this? Who but the devotees of Gora could possibly be like this? Having such magnanimity that compels them not to have the slightest concern for their own happiness, and drives their hearts to weep for the sorrows of others. Mahaprabhu then consoled that individual, saying, this kind wish for the living entities will bless them with auspiciousness. Mahaprabhu manifested his sannyas pastimes and went door to door chanting the name of Krishna and getting others to chant Krishna. We and the rest of civilized society request that you all sincerely take shelter at the feet of that Mahaprabhu Śrī Kṛṣṇa and his intimate followers. The Lord and his devotees will hear your anguish, please. In Gaura's pastimes, everyone will be delivered. Bina Vaishnava Nindaka Durachar. So Gaura's pastimes are still ongoing. In Gaura's pastimes, everyone will be delivered, except the Vaishnava Nindaks, the blasphemers of Vaishnavas. In other words, everyone except those who commit offenses to Vaishnavas will be able to obtain Gaura's grace. In the scriptures, offenses to Vaishnavas have been compared to a mad elephant. Just as a mad elephant uproots trees and vines and trees and tears them to shreds, the mad elephant of Vaishnava Parad tears apart the vine of devotion and does not allow it to grow up onto the wish-fulfilling tree of Krishna's feet. The living entity may have committed ghastly sins like slaughtering cows or brahmanas, or having an affair with his teacher's wife. But if he says, I will sin no more, and takes shelter at the feet of Bhagavan and his devotees, then Bhagavan grants him deliverance from all sins. Such was the case of Jagai and Madhai. I've read, I think it's an article, we're talking Christian act of confession and repentance comes from Vaishnavism, and it's just been corrupted. It's similar here. There was no sin they had not committed.
Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, it cut out. Yes,
Christianity.
Okay, comes from Vaishnavism.
There's an article by Bhaktivinoda Thakur about that the purest principles of that confession and repentance and forgiveness are contained within our Sanatana Dharma. It's been slightly twisted in some versions of Christianity. There was no sin Jagai and Madhai had not committed. They had even assaulted Baladev, Sri Nityananda Prabhu himself, but still they received his mercy. Why? Because they had not committed any offense to Vaishnavas. They had only sinned due to being addicted to intoxication. Later, when that same Jagai and Madhai said, we shall sin no more, and took refuge at the feet of Gaur Nityananda, then none of their sins remained. By the grace of Gaur Nityananda, they became the highest caliber of devotees. Consider the case of the prostitute sent by Ramchandra Khan. Though she went to seduce Namacharya Thakur Haridas himself, by the power of the Thakur's grace, that prostitute became the greatest of saints. Great Vaishnavas came to have her audience. Therefore, come, O saints, we will all band together and go door to door to the houses of the antagonists and weep, saying, brothers, you are our kin. Why would you keep choosing your own ruin by making offenses at the feet of those Vaishnavas who are the dearest kin of all of us? Right now, you have all been blinded by the illusion of Maya and are going around saying whatever you please, like patients in altered states of consciousness. You are going to various lengths to oppose the Vaishnavas, but brothers, even now, if you listen to the advice of the saint doctor, you will regain your health. And do not think of offending Vaishnavas as some sort of child's play, some trivial matter, brother. The fate of your current and future lives depends on this. Try to grasp how serious this is for once. You will still have the chance to go to the feet of those whom you have offended and beg for forgiveness. And then you will be met with auspiciousness. O saintly persons, if we visit the living entities from door to door and say this, then I think we will be able to deliver our kin. Otherwise, not. Everything coming through clear?
Yes, now it's coming up through clear. Yep. In the beginning, it was a little rocky, but now towards like, yeah, for a while it's been good.
Okay. So, okay, now this next section is interesting. It's quite long, and it's all phrased as a series of questions, 60 questions, and this is just the first part. It's mostly about Advaita Acharya and the descendants of Advaita Acharya, and then the intersection between them and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and the birthplace issue in Mayapur. So there's a little letter. This is somebody who's submitted this, writing in. So there's a little notice to or letter to the editor. Actually, first a note by the editor. Even though we did not want to publish all the questions recorded below, we have done so because they will serve to unveil many crucial and previously unpublicized historical facts. Editor of Nadīyā Prakāśa. So the editor of Nadīyā Prakāśa, Srila Bhaktivinoda Puri Maharaj, is actually reluctantly publishing this long list of questions because it reveals some very important historical facts. To the editor, Sir, of Nadīyā Prakāśa, Sir, my home is in Balaldigi. Balaldigi is in Mayapur, and it's the remains of an ancient lake built by Balal Singh. At present, my father's age is somewhat beyond 80. He was with Srimad Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahashaya from the very beginning of his efforts to determine the birthplace of Sri Mahaprabhu. Now, at the end of his life, he wants to write a series of accounts about ancient Navadvip and has engaged me in gathering additional material on this topic. I have developed a few doubts about this topic. In order to clear up these doubts, if my questions can be conveyed to the various readers of Nadīyā Prakāśa, then they may be able to assist me in achieving my objective. It is with this faith that I've sought your refuge. The number of my questions is great. Therefore, if you can publish these questions gradually or in sequence, I can find proper answers to them all, and then I hope I will be able to write adequate. I think it's supposed to be right. W-R-I-T-E, an adequate reconciliation, pardon me, of the controversy surrounding the birthplace of Sri Gaura. Supplicant Sri Indra Narayan Brahma Balaldigi Nadīyā. So, the questions. Number 1, Sri Advaita Mishra Acharya was a Kapa, someone who has lost their caste in the Varendra community. Question. So, was he a Kapa? Is he, if he was not, then what was his social status? Right? Because Advaita Acharya offered, when he performed the Shraddha for his father, he offered the plate of prasad to Haridas Thakur. And some Brahmanas rejected him for this act. There's a wonderful pastime. I'm not sure of the exact reference of it, except for a book by Bhakti-Vilas Bharati Maharaj, where he talks about that after the Brahmins offended Haridas Thakur, something very strange happened in Shantipur. All the fire disappeared. The Brahmanas couldn't light their own cooking stoves in their kitchens. They were fireless. Now, what happens when you deprive a Brahmin society of fire? Their whole life falls apart. They can't cook, they can't do yagyas, they can't do puja. So it was a big issue. And Advaita Acharya was like the most senior Brahmin in the community. And well, there was no problem in his home. He had fire. And so the Brahmins put two and two together. They realized, okay, we've made an offense to Haridas Thakur. So under the guidance of Advaita Acharya, they went to Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur, with his chanting of the Mahamantra, reignited all the household flames in Shantipur. So there was this minor miracle that Haridas Thakur demonstrated, and it's not talked about so much. But I believe
that's the first time I ever heard that. That's fascinating.
Yeah, because there's literature about Advaita Acharya that has been kind of sidelined because of concerns of authenticity, because certain books like Advaita but some of those works contain actual genuine information. They're just mixed in, unfortunately, with apasiddhanta or misconstrued dates and whatnot. So we don't read those books so much, but there's still some good things in it. We depend on the Paramahansa Vaishnavas and followers of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to guide us to which ones we can take safely. Anyways, sorry for the tangent, but it's kind of relevant here.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. Was he a supporter of Vaishnava Dharma as preached by Sri Chaitanya Dev? So it was Advaita Acharya, fully in the line of Sriman Mahaprabhu. One second. Do the Gaudiya Vaishnavas under the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Dev refer to him as an Acharya or not? Is his behavior sanctioned by Sri Chaitanya Dev or not? Was he lovingly disposed to Sri Nityananda Swarup, who was a follower of Sri Chaitanya Dev, or was he antagonistic to Sri Nityananda? Then, of course, there's the people who actually do think there was conflict between Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya. Was Sri Chaitanya discussing the topic of devotion to Vishnu before he started preaching Dharma or not? So before his big transformation in Gaya, was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preaching devotion to Vishnu or not? Is Sri Advaita Mishra referred to as a one-pointed servant of Sri Chaitanya or not? Has he not given the title Prabhu because he is a servant of Sri Chaitanya? Right? That's a verse in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita that says that Mahaprabhu is Mahaprabhu and the other two are Prabhus, Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu. Was he or was he not an Anukul Panthi, favorable practitioner of the spiritual approved by Sri Chaitanya Dev? Has he or has he not practiced the tenets of tradition, which is opposed to that of Chaitanya in his own life? No. Were his ancestors in the habit of resorting to any smriti traditions to conduct any household or spiritual rituals? Had he discarded some portions of the smriti traditions practiced by his forefathers and adopted the Vaishnava smriti path demonstrated by Sri Chaitanya Dev? So the whole pastime in Shantipur, when Mahaprabhu takes sannyas and gets redirected sneakily by Nityananda Prabhu back to Gauda Desh, to Shantipur. So if you read the commentaries on Chaitanya Bhagavata, that section, there's very interesting deliberation on what Mahaprabhu is doing right then. He is using Advaita Acharya, inspiring Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu to totally demolish Smarta tradition. Advaita Prabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, a high-class Brahmin and a sannyasi, start throwing rice around at each other. And so by smarta tradition, this is just utterly foul. Having a food fight, getting somebody else's remnants on your body, and nobody knows where Nityananda Prabhu came from. Nobody knows. He could be a Chandala for all they know. And he's throwing his remnants onto the exalted form, sacred form of Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya is supposedly getting angry and throwing it back at him. This was all orchestrated by Mahaprabhu to just get rid of the smarta orthodoxy and it just impress on people the importance of the transcendence of nama, real Brahmanans or Vaishnavas, and Mahaprasad, right? Nama Brahmane, Mahaprasadi Govinde, Nama Brahmane Vaishnave. Yeah. Yes. So he had, the answer to 11 is yes, he had discarded some portions of Smriti tradition and adopted Vaishnava Smriti. Was he or was he not initiated by a family guru who belonged to a family lineage of gurus? No, he was a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. Was he or was he not initiated by Sriman Madhavendra Puri, who had taken shelter of the Sriman Madhva Sampradaya? Is Sri Madhavendra Puripad 16th in descent from Sri Madhvacharya's Sampradaya in the lineage of sannyasi gurus or not? Was Sri Advaita Acharya someone who earned his livelihood by teaching the Kevala Advaita explanation of Vedanta philosophy or not? Or did he just do that to piss off Mahaprabhu royally one day so he could get a good slap? Had he read Madhva's commentary? I hope people can distinguish between when I'm talking and when... Anyways.
I think it's pretty obvious.
Had he read
Madhva, you're doing great.
Okay, thank you. Had he read Madhva's commentary on the Brahma Sutras and Sri Jayatirtha's Tattva Prakāśika Tika or not? Like, this is something important that we have to read one of these days. I've been seeing this a lot. Jayatirtha's Tattva Prakāśika. I think it was even published by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Was he an expert in the deliberation of Vrishika Tandulika Nyai, cited by Jayatirtha? Okay, yes. So this, and Swami Maharaj has this in his commentaries too, all over the place. The logic of the Vrishika, there's a footnote down at the bottom, if you can see. The logic of the Vrishika, scorpions, and the Tandul, rice, refers to scorpions hatching in piles of rice. One may assume that the scorpions are somehow being birthed from the rice itself, but really, they are hatching from the scorpion larva laid in the rice. This is why you should always wash your rice. Likewise, life may appear to originate from matter, but this assumption ignores the simple fact that life only comes from life. It's a great example. Great example. It looks like our life is just springing from the material elements, but we know that life can only come from life. Did he have any Sampradayic connection with Sri Nityananda Swarup or not? Did he have any Sampradayic connection with Sri Chaitanya Dev or not? Right? No, he was the godbrother of Nityananda Prabhu and the, I guess he was kind of like the Kaka Guru, Chacha Guru of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Dev's 6 servants in Sri Vrindavan, who are known as Goswamis. Did Sri Advaita Prabhu have any Sampradayic connection with them or not? Right, so he was the Param Guru of Nathas Goswami, and who else is connected to him? Okay, that's it, right? Does Chaitanya Chandrodaya Natak refer to Sri Advaita Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya's not? He not, when he went
Wait, it cut out when you read that one.
Offer obeisance to Sri Dhamma Chandrodaya Natak? Does Chaitanya Chandrodaya Natak refer to Sri Advaita as Sri Chaitanya's devotee or not? Did you get that?
Yes.
Okay. Did he or did he not, when he went to Purushottam, offer obeisance to Damodar Swarup, Śrī Caitanya's second self? Did Advaita and other devotees of Śrī Caitanya dance from ghat to ghat in Śrī Navadvip or not? Right? That's the famous song of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, right? Advaitadi Bhakta Brinda Nache Ghate Ghate Hari Bole Moder Gaura Elo. Is it that song? Is that the kirtan?
It is, yes.
Did Sri Advaita Prabhu's only Vaishnava son, Sri Achyutananda, receive the grace of Gadadhar Pandit Goswami or not?
We're including his Gaur Gadadhar Ashtakam in the Gaudiya Gita that you translated.
Yes, yes, Sri Achyutananda Prabhu, who is an incarnation of Kartikeya. And he's I think it's interesting that he has a significant role in our sampradaya. Did Sri Advaita's sons Gopal Mishra and Śrī Kṛṣṇa Mishra temporarily demonstrate adherence to the guidance of Mahaprabhu or not? So it's interesting. We accept Sri Achyutananda Prabhu only, fully, even though Sri Gopal Mishra is considered to be an incarnation of Ganesh, according to Gorkanadesh Tipika. And he appears in the Chaitanya Charitamrita after the cleaning of the Gundicha temple. There's a short little lila where he dances in ecstasy now that the temple has been cleaned and falls unconscious. And I believe Mahaprabhu has to revive him. I think it's so interesting that Ganesh, who is Vigna Vinayak, the remover of obstacles, but also the controller of obstacles, he becomes so delighted and happy when Mahaprabhu has cleansed the temple of Lord Jagannath of all the obstacles, of all the pebbles, of all the dust, of all the straw, everything, all the anarthas, all the obstacles are gone. Ganesh is so delighted, so happy. Oh, all my work is done. Finally, I don't have to do anything anymore. So this Shiv Thakur, Lord Shiva, appears in Gaur Leela in such a wonderful way with his sons and Yogamaya as Advaita Acharya. But Sri Achyutananda Kartikeya is given, he takes the leading role. Ganesh has tons of pastimes all over the Puranas and other places. So in Gaur Leela, he steps back a bit and lets his older brother.
It's time for
Or maybe
Kartikeya to shine.
Yeah.
Take center stage.
So which of Advaita's sons was engaged in serving the Lord's feet for his whole life? What was the Vishnu Bhakti of Advaita's other sons like? Did anyone Shri ever worship the deity of Shri Gaur Sundar or not? In Shantipur and the Advaita family, are Shri Gaur Sundar's deities worshipped in several homes? In the Bandyopadhyaya and Bhattabhijas of Shri Ram Krishna, Ramchandra, and Gopijana Vallabha, who are under the guidance of Shri Nityananda's son Virabhadra, is there any tradition of worshipping Shri Nityananda's deity or not? Did Radha Mohan Goswami Bhattacharya take birth in Advaita's lineage or not? In the of the sons of Balaram, a descendant of Advaita, given by J.K. Sharma Nayak, Radha Mohan is listed as Madhusudan's son and Madhusudan as Balaram's son. When was this genealogy changed and another dubious claim propagated in its stead?
This isn't referring
So,
to Radha Mohan, like the famous writer, like from the
I
I
would
think it's
not, because I believe that Radha Mohan is a descendant of Śrīvāsa Acharya, so much later.
Okay.
Yeah. Which of the Mahopyadhyaya Smartha Raghunandan's 28 tattvas did Radha Mohan Goswami Bhattacharya write commentaries? Yeah, I don't think this is the same one. By whom were Śrī Kṛṣṇa, Mishra Gopal, Mishra Jagadish, Balaram, and other sons of Advaita initiated into Vishnu mantra and made into Vaishnavas? Can a person initiated into one of the other four types of mantras among the Panchopasaks, that is, aside from initiation into Vishnu mantra, be referred to as a Vaishnava or not? So this started during Mahaprabhu's time, where a certain set of his sons, well, Chitananda was fully Gaudiya, Vaishnava. Krishna Mishra and Gopal seemed to be kind of neutral. And then Balaram and Jagadish went full on into Smarta Panchapasak worship. And then this is it right for those initiated into Vishnu mantra to follow the traditions of the Karmakanda obsessed Smartas who antagonize Vaishnavas and perform Preta Shraddha? So something happened after Advaita Acharya, because under the guidance of Sri Achyutananda Prabhu, his final rites were not performed according to Smarta tradition. Descendants, I believe it was either Balaram or his descendants, then did another funerary rite, another Shraddha, to make up for the previous Shraddha, and basically burnt an effigy, like a straw doll representative of Advaita Acharya, because the Grihastha is supposed to be burnt, right? So this is really interesting. It's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It almost suggests that Advaita Acharya was given samadhi. I don't know, in one sense, right? Or maybe just the rituals were not performed according to Smarta tradition with their mantras and offerings and whatnot, and so they wanted to do it again. But this is referred to as Preta Shraddha or Preta Shraddha, or like treating Advaita Acharya as a disembodied spirit, as a Preta, and not as a exalted, divine being. Anyways, from the perspective of spiritual considerations, what is the destiny of those who can treat the worshipful representation of Vishnu as mere stone? Those who have obtained Vishnu mantra initiation and attained Vaishnava status, can they regard their gurus as ordinary mortals, as the Panchopasaks do, or not? If they do, then according to the Bhakti scriptures, where does their fate lie? So it's a matter of faith, really. The Karmakandis are doing all the rituals, but their faith is not as deep or profound. Those among the descendants of Sri Advaita who had established knowledge of their caste-based duties prior to receiving initiation from others who were initiated in Vishnu mantra, do those descendants have the right to give diksha or not? Okay, so this is a very interesting point. So it's almost suggesting that there was a shift in Advaita Acharya itself when Mahaprabhu came into the picture strongly, and that his older sons had already kind of become entrenched in Smarta orthodoxy and didn't follow Advaita Acharya into the transition of Mahaprabhu's, Prem Nam Shuddha Bhakti tradition. So do they have a right to give? Vaishali followed Mahaprabhu, right? Their ancestors, even at the time of Mahaprabhu, never followed him. And then several centuries later, they're going to be descendants of Advaita Acharya and exalted Vaishnava. But they never actually had any connection to the genuine teachings. How can these Sri Gaudiya Vaishnavas respect those who introduce themselves as the sons of Sri Advaita but actively oppose the conduct of Sri Advaita Prabhu? Is it or is it not true that Kaviraj Goswami as a whole and Chaitanya Charitamrita referred to Sri
Śrīvāsa, could you
Achyutananda
start over from the beginning
as
again?
a Sampradayik Vaishnava, a Vaishnava
Śrīvāsa? I'm really sorry. Could you start over
beginning of
from
where?
41?
41?
Yeah, like, is it or is it not true? It cut out for that
From
part.
41? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it or is it not true that Kaviraj Goswami, when describing Sri Advaita's lineage as a whole in Chaitanya Charitamrita, referred to Sri Achyutananda as a Sampradayic Vaishnava, a Vaishnava in proper standing in disciplic lineage? Sri Gopal and Krishna Mishra as Sadharan Vaishnavas, Vaishnavas in the general sense, and the sons of Advaita who were opposed to Sri Chaitanya as Chaitanya Vimukha Asara, inconsequential antagonists of Chaitanya. (42) What are we to understand from reading all the topics mentioned in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita in the course of describing Sri Advaita's branch? Did Sri Advaita's Smarta descendants ever go to Sri Vrindavan? And did they ever develop deep attachment to Vaishnava Dharma? And what is the degree of that deep attachment, Anurag? Is the Guru business, so there are several temples in Vrindavan related to Advaita Acharya, right? Is the Guru business practice of maintaining one's Smarta Bhattacharya status and receiving initiation in the mantra of gods other than Vishnu and initiating others in those mantras something that was condoned by Sri Madhavendra Puripad? In which year did Sri Ram Goswami Mahashai, father of the late Radhika Nath Goswami, and his elder brother, the late Madan Gopal Goswami, go to Sri Purushottam Kshetra? And there, during a discussion with Srimad Bhaktivinoda Thakur, what topics were covered? I would love to have a transcription of that conversation. We hear that in 1851, they discussed Srimad Bhagavatam with Srimad Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Sri Kshetra, and as a result of that discussion, returned to their homelands and taught a reformed system of conduct. How different was that reformation from the Smarta tradition taught by the predecessors of this lineage? This is huge. This is admitting that Bhaktivinoda Thakur had an influence on the Advaita Gosais from within, that one of their most illustrious lineages had a discussion with them and changed and taught differently after talking to him. This is huge.
We'll have to send this to Lalit
Anyways.
Mohammed. He might have more insight to all that.
Yeah, I hope he does. Why did Madan Gopal Goswami Mahashai hide from Upendra Mohan Goswami, resident of Karadaha, a certain commentary on Tattva Sandarbha written in the name of Radha Mohan Bhattacharya? Okay, the plot thickens. If anyone knows what topics Upendra Goswami Mahashai discussed with Srimad Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we express the authenticity of that commentary, they may please make them public. So there's a commentary on Tattva Sandarbha, because this was the other thing, was that they tried to get Jiva Goswami into the Smarta side of things, into the Swakiya side, and anyways. Shri Baladev Vidyabhushan is the Vedanta preceptor of the Gaudiyas. Prior to him, if Radha Mohan Bhattacharya was able to be advertised as author of a commentary on Tattva Sandarbha, then the stain of shame on the descendants of Advaita for allowing Smarta tradition mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita would have been cleared up. I don't quite understand that. I hope we can get more clarification about this. So, who wrote this very recent commentary text attributed to Sri Radha Mohan to do away with this inconvenience? Okay. When Radha Mohan was Raghunandan Bhattacharya's chief disciple and commentator on his text, then how does it make sense for him to be portrayed as the commentator of a philosophy that is completely opposed to that of his guru? The Smarta Raghunandan has mentioned several pro-Vaishnava reconciliations throughout his books, but that can never make him a Vaishnava of the Sri Madhva Sampradaya. Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu was a disciple of Sri Madhavendra Puri, so he had taken shelter of the Sri Madhva Sampradaya. How can someone from Sri Advaita lineage who has adopted the impersonalist Kevala Advaita doctrine, gone against Srimad Bhagavatam to judge Vaishnavas by their caste, and regards himself as well established in the Smarta community, possibly write a commentary on Tattva Sandarbha? The following verse was cited in Bhakti Sandarbha, and Sri Advaita Prabhu corroborated its purport. Yasya lakshanam pungabijanjakam yat yatrapi drishyeta tattena deshat. Regardless of the caste a person is born in, should they be assigned a caste, they should be assigned a caste according to their qualities. It is certainly possible that while writing his commentary on this verse, the Smarta Bhattacharya's eyes fell upon the upper section of the Charak pillar. How can all these topics be reconciled? Okay, so the Charak Puja is a festival held in honor of Lord Shiva and features devotees swinging from a tall pillar via rope and hook inserted into the flesh of their backs. One who would happily endure such a ritual would surely be understood to possess the natural qualities of a kshatriya.
That's really
And so
intense.
the ritual itself, yeah, that ritual itself, you can look it up. There's pictures of it. That ritual itself kind of proves the necessity for there being different divisions of people. You know, there's some people who will go and stick hooks in their backs and swing around from a pole, and there's people who will not. And we don't have to copy them. You know, what if we lived in a society where we all had to do that, right? And what's interesting about that ritual is that there's a very similar ritual among the North American Indians, which is just really interesting. Ancient Shiva worship, I think. 53. How long has the Smarta practice of receiving dakshina and payment for teaching been actively practiced in the Nityananda lineage in imitation of the practice of the Smarta reciters in the Advaita lineage? So it looks like the Advaita Goswamis started this first, and then the Nityananda Goswamis picked up on it later. The sequential history of this needs to be researched. Yeah, that's also an interesting topic. While the pure Vaishnava Goswamis of Brajamandal declared the paid reciters to be at odds with Vaishnava Smriti, though such reciters were well versed in non-Vaishnava Smriti, the Grihastha Acharyas cultivated the recital and teaching of Bhagavatam to earn their livelihood, thus following in the footsteps of the Smartas. So this is actually directly attacking the Goswamis even of today in Vrindavan, who, even though the Goswamis, like Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, even though they declare very clearly in their works that selling the recitation of Bhagavatam is at odds with Vaishnava tradition, they followed the Advaita and Nityananda Vangsha Goswamis in doing this. And that's why this has become common practice. 55. The Advaita Vangsha has long been supporters of Raghunandan's hatred of the Vaishnavas. Though Katva's two Goswami sons, dubbed Big Prabhu and Little Prabhu, have demonstrated some ceremonial Vaishnavism, they are not supported by the rest of Advaita's Smarta descendants. Is there any evidence that contradicts the countless distasteful statements made in the Advaita Vangsha about Sriman Mahaprabhu and his servants, as found in Prem Vilas and other authoritative texts, as well as in texts from the time of Śrīvāsa Acharya? Sri Ram Goswami's son, Sri Radhikanath Goswami, went to Brahmadesh, Burma, to Rangoon for work, we hear. How many years did he work there? Why did he return from there to Bengal? All these details will help in determining the establishment of Sri Mayapur. What was the name of this aforementioned Goswami Mahashai while he was living in Rangoon? There may be many who know that detail too. Why did Radhikanath Goswami go to Vrindavan, and for what reason did he frequent the home of the Kashim Bazar Maharaja and tour the Bashir Hat region? If anyone among your readers knows anything about this, then please publish the information in this newsletter. Why did Sri Radhikanath Goswami accompany the king of Tarash and his younger brother when they went to Vrindavan? Why did he live separately when he stayed in Sri Mayapur? Is there something about Vrindavan that is relevant to verifying the truth of Mayapur? When Shantipur's Jayagopal Goswami Mahashai saw in one of the most ancient manuscripts of Govindadas's Karacha that Sri Mayapur was named as a place near Balal Digi, he was so overjoyed. Who deprived him of that joy, and for what reason? So that's also an important point, that Govindadas's Karacha mentions Sri Mayapur as near Balal Digi. And Balal Digi is clearly visible today as a man-made lake. Or the remnants of.
I keep on seeing this point that it seems like during Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time, everybody was like, he had so much support, and then all of a sudden,
It was unanimous. People didn't have a problem.
Wow.
And the archaeological evidence was there. The records were there. The local folklore supported it, right? The elders in the village supported it, and all the Pandits and Goswamis and Acharyas, they supported it until they realized, oh crap, it's interfering with our livelihood. Bhakti, it wasn't until Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, I think it was like 20 or 30 years later, starts publishing really heavy articles in the Gaudiya attacking this practice of making money off of Bhagavatam and judging people by their caste, right? That's when they freaked out and totally switched tunes, totally changed their tune. It's documentable. It's documentable. In their writings, prior to Bhaktisiddhanta's attacks, they support Bhaktivinoda Thakur. After his attacks, they change. All right, now there's a very short little section of Śrī Kṛṣṇa Caitanya, the chronological summary of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes from the introductory sections of Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita, which were written by Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Puri Maharaj. I believe we're reading Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Puri Maharaj's summaries. Arriving in Puri, Mahaprabhu took up residence in Kashi Mishra's house. Sarvabhauma introduced Mahaprabhu to the Vaishnavas who lived in Sri Caitra. Krishnadas was sent to Navadvip. So the Krishnadas who had run off, been allured by one of the Bhattatari women and almost had himself killed by the Bhattataris. So when Mahaprabhu came back to Puri, Mahaprabhu was like, I can't deal with him anymore. You have to take him. So Nityananda Prabhu and the devotees were very merciful to Krishnadas and just sent him to Navadvip to convey the news. When the Gaudiya devotees heard from Krishnadas that Mahaprabhu had returned to Sri Caitra, they began making arrangements to go to Puri. Sri Paramananda Puri came to Puri via Navadvip along with Advaita Prabhu's disciple, Dvija Kamalakanta. Sri Purushottam Bhattacharya of Navadvip had performed a pastime of accepting sannyas from a guru in Kashi named Chaitanyananda, but had refused the yoga strap tied around the knees to keep the body in a rigid posture of meditation, and other symbols, and so became known as Swarup. Even Mahaprabhu's name is his brahmachari name, isn't it? So they took sannyas, but almost like not completely. He too arrived in Purushottam at the feet of Mahaprabhu. Sri Ishwarapuri's disciple Govinda also arrived. After the disappearance of Puri Goswami, as per his guru's order, Govinda came to Mahaprabhu and offered his soul to his service. Mahaprabhu expertly had Brahmananda Bharati give up his deerskin garment. Ishwarapuri's disciple Kashishwar Pandit also arrived in Puri to be with Mahaprabhu. When Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya tried to get Mahaprabhu to meet with King Prataparudra, then Mahaprabhu, who was enacting pastimes as a teacher to the world, rejected the proposal on the grounds that it is forbidden for a sannyasi to meet with those engaged in sense gratification. Ramananda Roy took leave of his work for the king and came to be with Mahaprabhu in Puri. When Ramananda praised Prataparudra's many Vaishnava qualities to Mahaprabhu, the Lord's attitude towards the king changed. Right? Then you realize that Prataparudra is actually a Vaishnava, and it's not right for me to just judge him as a king. When Jagannath was not giving darshan just before Rath Yatra, Mahaprabhu went to Alalnath, and when he came back to Purushottam, he met with Advaita and other devotees who had arrived. Next is an invitation letter. Shri Guru Gauranga Jayataha. Shri Chaitanya Gauriya Math, Dumunakunda, 7th of Chaitra, 1334. This request is submitted with utmost respect. Mahoday, this upcoming 10th of Chaitra, 23rd of March, Friday, Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajaka Acharya Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur and his associates will arrive on the Calcutta-Delhi Express at 2:42 in the afternoon at Sitarampur station to make their auspicious arrival at the Dumrakunda Sri Chaitanya Math. All respected sirs and their friends are requested to participate as per the schedule provided below. The humble servants of Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math. Program schedule, 10th of Chaitra, Friday. The welcoming committee will greet Srila Paramahansa Thakur at 2:42 in the afternoon at Sitarampur station. At 3 p.m., Srila Paramahansa Thakur will be brought with great fanfare and Sankirtan to the Sri Math from Begun Chaurasta. That night, at 7 p.m., after the Aratrik Kirtan, will be Srila Thakur's speech. 11th of Chaitra Sunday and 12th of Chaitra Sunday at 5 in the afternoon at the home of the Nisharchati resident Param Bhagavat Shukta Indra Narayan Chandra Mahashay, there will be Kirtan and Srila Paramahansa Thakur's speech. And now for the news from 100 years ago. 3,200 taka was stolen from a mail van on the way to Sialda station from the Calcutta General Post Office. IB Rail CID Inspector Sadat Ali Khan was arrested as a man named Muhammad Jaki at the Barakpur horse racing grounds in relation to this theft. Sialda police have put the accused in jail at the courthouse. Investigation is ongoing. A severe bout of cholera and plague is underway in Uttar Pradesh, the United Provinces, or present-day Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand. In Pilibhit, in Rohilkhand division, and the Shahjahanpur and Bareilly, there is plague, and in Mirzapur, a severe outbreak of cholera. In Vindhyachal, the fair has started again from March 21st. Fairgoers are being advised extreme caution. See, even then, there were epidemics and attempts to lock people down. A clerk of the Mitasu Basan Kaisa company by the name of Kshetranath Barik has been charged with embezzling 1,66,000 taka. The claim is that the aforementioned clerk did not deposit any of the money that the company entrusted to him to deposit with the central bank between 1926 and October of 1927. Instead, he took it for himself and besides that, distorted accounting records. At present, the accused has fled. Chief Presidency Magistrate Mr. Voxburg has issued a summons in the accused's name. The author of Samsamayik Bharat and professor of history at Patna University, Shriyukta Yogendranath Samaddar, is in a lot of pain. His blood pressure has increased. The Professor Mahashaya is very faithful towards Sri Chaitanya Mat and Sri Dham Mayapur. By the grace of Sri Bhagavan Gaur Sundar, may he quickly recover his health. This is our prayer. During the Kolkata Corporation's last meeting last Wednesday, a proposal was made to take a loan of 1,3,22,000 rupees for the current fiscal year with a 19.5% tax and a proposal to impose an annual tax on dogs because they didn't want dogs crapping in the street, and basically a tax on dog owners because they weren't cleaning up after their dogs.
Interesting.
The revised loan budget passed, and Sri Ram Kumar Goyankar's questions, the chief executive informed him that a total of 5,037 sweepers are working in the corporation. The number of night soil workers and night soil carriage vehicles is 1,859 and 1,691, respectively. The sweeper's wage is 14 rupees. The night soil worker's wage is 12 rupees, and the night soil carrier's wage is 14 rupees. They also received some ration money. In Maniktala, Kashipur, and Garden Reach, the sweeper's wages were from 7 to 13 rupees. The night soil workers' wages were from 11 to 13 rupees, and the night soil carrier's wages per fortnight were from 12 to 13 rupees. They earn 30 to 40 rupees per month. Sweepers work for 6 hours, night soil workers work for 4 hours, and carriers work for 5 to 6 hours a day. The district engineer said that their wages seem sufficient according to the work. What a life.
My God. What's night soil?
Stool. Just, okay, so, before there was plumbed sewage, there was just like I see it in, and even in Vrindavan, some of the old buildings there, they had just an outhouse basically at the front of the house that would go into a little section that then the night soil sweeper would have to literally pick up and dump into his cart and take away somewhere else. So all the stool was ferried out of the city or to different, I don't know what they did, but it was a pretty gruesome job.
Yeah.
We hear that the Communist Party is very oppressed in Japan, and many people have been arrested in cities like Tokyo, Yokohama, Kobe, and others. Reports are that a hunt is on to find all the hideouts of the Communist Party. And the issues that I'm on now, there's full-blown war between Japan and China, and I guess with the Communist Party. Shriyukta Bipin Bihari and Shriyukta Pulina Bihari Mitra, relatives of the revered literary figure Mr. Pyari Chand Mitra, Tek Chand Thakur, have donated 10,000 rupees for the construction of a grand lion gate and a large ashram in memory of their late father. Paramahansa Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur ceremonially installed the foundation with his own hands. On Thursday, the 22nd of March, around noon, unexpectedly, the Ganges in Kolkata rose about 4 to 5 feet and flooded the area. As the flood came so suddenly, boatmen were taken by surprise, which damaged and broke many boats. Much cargo and belongings were also damaged. The extent of the damage is still unknown. To facilitate the comfort of the third-class passengers of Sialda's IB Railway, it has been proposed to open a passenger superintendent office in the station's third-class waiting room. This arrangement will be to tend to the needs and complaints of passengers. In the village of Sonatala, near the city of Bhagerghat, a pond is being excavated. Due to the emergence of a flammable vapor from one corner of it, superstitious workers have abandoned the excavation of this pond. This is quite common when excavating. There's pockets of of like odorless gas that can come out, and that can be actually really dangerous, or it can be flammable. But back then they thought it was, something magical. In the city of Lucknow, a 30-year-old girl named Dulari Gwalini, enraged from a fight with her husband, mixed dhutura in the food of her two nieces. As a result, one girl died and the other fell seriously ill. Dulari has admitted her guilt in front of a magistrate. The judge has sentenced her to life imprisonment.
A 13-year-old girl with her husband. Wow.
Yet at the same time, there was, I think, the previous issue, someone who kidnapped a girl, and the girl still hadn't been found, and he only got 4 years.
My God.
This 13-year-old girl got life imprisonment.
Huh.
Strange justice system.
Yeah.
Convened in Shivapur. Sympathy was expressed for the Lilwa mill workers at the meeting. Mr. Shringar Bhelu, Mr. K.C. Mitra, Mr. Mukundalal Sarkar, and others were speakers at the meeting. The Prince of Wales is a colonel of the Guards. He crossed 7 hurdles in the horse race at the Inter-Regiment Challenge Cup in Risley, but was flung over the horse's head while crossing the 8th hurdle and fell. He was not seriously injured. Sir Neil Ratan Sarkar is very ill. Everyone is praying to God for his speedy recovery. A 2-minute earthquake occurred in Mexico on the evening of March 21st. The International News Service has received some uncertain reports from Portland, Maine, suggesting that some sign of Captain Hinchcliffe and Miss Mackay has been found in Patten, Maine, America. It may be that Hinchcliffe's airplane has crashed on Mount Chase in a lake region of Maine. The students of Scottish Church College have still not attended college today. It has been decided that until there is a satisfactory resolution regarding the case of the third-year students Achindranath Mitra, no student will attend college. A meeting of students was supposed to be held at Cornwallis Square last Friday. If both sides remain steadfast, the situation will worsen. If the principal would soften a little, everything would cool down and be fine. Is he representing the caring attitude of a parental figure to the students? No. The Lilwa matter is also becoming increasingly complex day by day. A statement by Mr. K.C. Mitra, Secretary of the EIR Union, reveals that nearly 800 workers of the Signal Engineering Department have gone on strike. As long as no satisfactory resolution is provided, they will continue to strike. Last Wednesday, many people were detained in the 7th building of the IKR department in Howrah in a helpless and hungry state. New coolies have been appointed by a European company. An assembly at the Howrah Maidan last Thursday opposed the suggestion of a proposal announced by the government to reduce workers. And that is it for the news of March 26, 1928. Dainik Nadīyā Prakāśa. Thank you all for joining.
I like
Didi has a
learning all
question.
my world news also from Śrī Caitanya Math. Now we're
Yes,
starting
Didi.
the battle of like what is it? The conflict. What is it with of the Japanese and Chinese?
Yes. Didi, you had a question.
Prabhu, can you update us about the situation in the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur that he reformed the caste systems? Because I don't know, in this time, all the problems in the caste system, and he wanted to reform all this system. Can you say something just to basic to understand something?
So it's interesting, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his family lineage is actually connected to Narottam Das Thakur. So Narottam Das Thakur's, was it his brother? Was Raja Krishnananda? So Raja Krishnananda of Keturi was either the cousin or brother of Narottam Das Thakur. And so Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, interestingly enough, can trace their lineage to this relative of Narottam Das Thakur. It's also amazing that they're the one of the two most prolific Padavali Kirtan writers in our Sampradaya.
Wow, I've never heard this before. That's so interesting.
So yeah, they were Kayastha Kshatriyas, right? So Kayastha, I have to understand, I don't understand exactly what Kayastha is. There was different divisions. There was the 5 main Brahmin families, ancient Brahmin families. And then there's subsections of them. There's certain Brahmins that are junior, like the Chakravartis are junior to the Bhattacharyas. Nityananda Prabhu belonged to a junior kind of Maithili Brahmin family. So Brahmanas who had come from Mithila, which is now current day Nepal. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was, and during Narottam Das Thakur's time, he faced tremendous backlash from the Brahmin community for initiating Brahmins. He would give them diksha. And that's why there's this pastime where Narottam Das Thakur had passed away. He had entered his samadhi. And they brought his body down to the ghats of the Ganga and placed his body on a pyre there. And they were about to light the pyre. And there are a bunch of Brahmanas standing to the side saying, yep, this is what happens when you initiate Brahmins. Yeah, you die a premature death, and you just, Narottam Thakur, it appeared that Narottam Thakur had become paralyzed. He had like a seizure and become paralyzed. Right? So this is what happens. So Ganganarayan Chakravarti was standing there listening to this, right? And he's just like, oh, Gurudev, please do something. Like, they are just going straight to hell. They don't understand who you are. They're just standing here ridiculing you at your funeral. Like, how that's a massive sin by any human standpoint, right? And insult. So Narottam Thakur heard the prayers of his disciple in his heart, right? And he stood up on the pyre. All of a sudden, he just stood up and started leading a kirtan. And then he stayed for another 2 weeks and initiated all the Brahmanas who witnessed the miracle and came to their senses. So he initiated a whole nother section, group batch of Brahmanas. And then one day, as they helped him bathe in the Ganga, he just turned into milk, disappeared into the Ganga. So,
I've been there to the milk samadhi.
That really cemented. Really? Okay. Wow.
I have a bunch of videos.
Yeah. So he really cemented his position as a genuine mystic, a genuine, in the collective memory. So it's interesting that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Bhaktivinoda Thakur are connected to this line, and they preach the same thing. They were, again, not of Brahmin birth, but they gave Brahman Diksha and established that all living entities are Brahman because they are all sons of Brahma. So even the animals are Brahmins. And just now that they're in animal form, okay, they cannot worship Bhagavan. Okay, so as human beings, we can worship Bhagavan, we can be known as Brahmanas, but the real Brahmana is a Vaishnava. And if you're born in a Brahmin family, but you don't have faith in Krishna, you don't have faith in Bhagavan, in Vishnu, and you're not leading a pious life, you're just using your position to exploit others, then you're worse than a Brahman, you're worse than a Chandala. You're worse than an animal, really. So it's not something that the caste-born brahmanas want to hear at all. The arguments are so strong, so compelling, and they know their guilty behavior. They know they're not living up to the standard of proper sadachar. So their only option is to get angry and to spread lies and vitriol and whatnot. I hope that makes something clear. I don't know.
That was great. I learned something new. Very interesting.
Yeah. And it's something that still goes on till today. The Babajis in Radha Kund are very deeply connected to the Vaishnava parivars of Advaita and Nityananda Prabhu. And I can't say for certain what they're like now, because I haven't had any close association with them. Some people in our line who are more friendly with those crowds associate with them and seem to think that their Siddhanta is okay. But I believe that a lot of these issues are still deep-rooted, and it's just people don't really want to talk about them anymore right now. Let's pretend we're all one happy family, and but when you really get to know them, then you realize that they have these deep-seated prejudices against our Guru Varga, right? And then you realize that this happened to me personally. I kind of got taken in by one of the Nityananda Goswamis and was living with them and taking their prasad until I realized one day he had such a huge grudge against Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And it was based on money. That Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had somehow, and the Gaudiya Math and ISKCON had somehow taken all the money that should have been theirs. That they should have had big, big temples all over the world. And instead, so it's like, I personally don't understand how to be trusting of people who have such a huge grudge against, even if they're beautiful people and Vaishnavas to some extent, how can you trust them when they have actually like a deep-seated grudge and resentment of your Guru Varga? They will use you. I felt that I was being used as a pawn for their ends. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes about this as the curse of the Yadavas. So the curse that drove all the Yadavas mad to kill each other with canes. This is that curse, is that when and this applies to us as well, if we say, oh, I'm a disciple of Srila Vedanta Narayan Maharaj, I am a disciple of so-and-so, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, therefore I should be given this, and I should be given respect and this domain and this privilege and this and that. What ends up happening, everyone ends up fighting, right? Fighting over lands, fighting over temples, over disciples, over money, and killing themselves. This is the curse of the Yadavas. And it happens again and again in institutions on both sides. And every individual is liable to fall prey to it. So Gurudev said, don't criticize anyone. Don't get into the fight. Just focus on your own, Bhajan. And be very careful not to be like the false sons. Don't be the false sons of Krishna. Be the real sons of Krishna. Be the real sons of Mahaprabhu. And the real son of Mahaprabhu was Sri Achyutananda Prabhu. Mahaprabhu had no children. His real son was a Tridandi sannyasi, Sri Achyutananda Prabhu. That was his real son. So we follow them. We follow the Tridandis, the true renounced devotees. Okay, it's gone on very long today.
But you should write an article on this. That would be a fantastic article, very relevant, and like just everything that you said now. It would be like really.
It could probably be a book, and maybe like all this literature will come together gradually as as something.
But like a good system is just to have like little parts and then bring all the parts together into a book. Like
yeah, get it prepared. Yeah. All right. Thank you, devotees. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. It was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'll just do a very quick Mahamantra and a very short. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Would you like to do Jadwani Shios? Or should I?
Can you do a quick one?
Yeah, I'll do a short one. Yeah. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Jai Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Srila Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupano Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Swaparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Gana Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Shri Dainik Nadīyā Prakāśa Ki Jai. All the periodicals of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada and his followers Ki Jai. The editor of Dainik Nadīyā Prakāśa, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shri Hari Nama Sankirtan Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Shri Advaita Acharya Ki Jai. Shri Achyutananda Goswami Ki Jai. Jai Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.
Hari.
Vanchakalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, Shri Devi Didi, Vrinda Didi, Champak Mataji, Sarveshwari Mataji, Śrīvāsa Prabhu, Gavin, Nri Hari Prabhu, and Bhavatarani Mataji, and on YouTube and Facebook, Vidya Lalasa Didi, Manjari Didi. Manjari Didi says, yes, best just to follow the advice of Srila Gurudeva and Guru Varga and not associate with these kinds of Vaishnavas. Yes. All right. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Thank you so much for joining, and look forward to seeing you all next week for the next issues, all right, of Dainik Nadīyā Prakāśa. All right. Thanks, Śrīvāsa, for everything. See you all. Also, tomorrow I'm going to be doing the last program of Bhakti Vinod Giti Dhara for a while. We're going to go over the last kirtan of the 6 limbs of Sharanagati, Radha Kunda Tata, Kunja Kutira. We're going to do that kirtan, and then I'm going to pause our program for a bit. I don't know. I was thinking maybe we could read Radha Krishna Ganadeshtipika every day, preparing for Rupa Goswami's. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure out what we should read every day. But I'm pausing it because I have so much songbook work to do, and I just don't have time to prepare anything nice for the these Bhakti Vinod Giti Dhara programs. So I want to continue it once I send everything to the printers. Then I'll be able to do nicer programs like that. So now we're just going to be reading books basically. All right. Hare Krishna, everybody. Done.